Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name is Matt Drake. This is episode 147. Yes, we are a touch late today. Only a little bit though, like 10 minutes, if that.
We're busy playing games in the background, team. What do you want us to say?
We were. I'm joined, as ever, by my co-host Morgan Halfhour. Good evening, Morgan.
Hey, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm not bad. I've managed to get out this week for some disc golf, which is great. And you know what? For the first time in a long time, I was relatively pleased with the way I played.
There you go. Happy days.
Indeed. Shot 4 down at Hardcore Park in the league, and made every C1 putt. So I was happy with that. That really helped. And yeah, shot 4 down, got absolutely obliterated by Johnny Wake, who shot 9 down. He was on the same card as me, and I was like, oh. But
no offense, but no surprise there.
Incredible job. And yeah, it's second to last week of the league. Another 30-something people showing up. Last one next week, next Wednesday, for this year at least. Summer League kicks off middle of January, which we'll get to as well. So yeah, no. How are you? Have you been playing much?
I've not barely been playing at all, pretty much since OHAL. But as you know, I went up to a wedding at the weekend, just been up in Christchurch.
How was that?
Wedding was incredible. Congratulations, Krill and Laura. I know you're not watching, but they're enjoying their time in Fiji right now on their honeymoon. So yeah, that was awesome. But I managed to get out to Jelly Park for a quick round, just a solo round.
Yep.
Shot an 8 down, which I was pretty happy with, to be fair, after not playing for quite a while. And no surprises here. That's not on the top of the leaderboard this week. I was hoping, not on the top of the leaderboard this week. Christchurch killers and all, Christchurch killers and all.
Well, we've had a little bit of a wobble with the hot scores, so we don't have any for this week. However, we're going to make it up next week. I know there'll be people kicking themselves because there's been heaps of disc golf played last week. Next week, we're going to be summing up, because it's our last episode of the year next week. We'll be doing hot scores for 2023. That's right.
Boom.
So if you want to know who shot the hot score for your local course, then next week we'll be going through all of those hot scores. So make sure you
looking forward to that one. There's going to be some pretty sick scores out there, I imagine.
I should imagine there's going to be some pretty low scores and some pretty how the hell did you do that scores as well. So so we shall see. But look, we mentioned it's the end of the year. So we thought we'd do an end-of-year awards show. Now, these are the Sweet Chain Awards. They are not affiliated to New Zealand Disc Golf or indeed any other entity. It's simply ourselves, and we thought we'd do some end-of-season awards for some prestige and bragging rights for people, and also for a bit of conversation and debate. Right, and we'll see how we go. So this is how it's going to work, right? There are 6 categories that we've got awards for. We've got Male Player of the Year, Female Player of the Year. We've got Male Junior Player of the Year, Female Junior Player of the Year. We've got Tournament of the Year, and we've got Breakout Player of the Year. Okay, so and what me and Morgan have done is that we kind of scoured over the data. The data analytics team have fed us a load of useful info. We've had a look through where we past tournament results, etc., and we've come up with for most of the categories 4 finalists. Okay, 4 finalists, and what we're going to do is at the end of the show, we're going to send out a forms link, right? And it's going to be up to you, the audience, the general disc golf community in New Zealand, to vote on who you think is most deserving of the winner. We're going to provide you some stats and information to go alongside each of our finalists. And there might be some people that we've missed out. There might be some people that we've overlooked, right? So
that might need reminding.
Indeed. And so if you think there is some people who we've missed out or that didn't quite make it onto our finalist list, there is a way that you can get them to win, right? So what you can do is on the form, there'll be an other. And if enough people put the same name in the other, then that person will win. So it will be really interested in seeing, does Breakout player really need a vote? You'd be surprised, actually. It's not quite as obvious. Everybody knows the obvious one. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But it's not quite as obvious. There are a couple of players. There are two other players of note that have had very good seasons. Actually, see if you can guess who they are, because we'll get to that award last, probably. Right. So, Morgan, should we just jump straight on with the debate, and let's get on with it, shall we?
Yeah, I just want to do one thing, sorry, Matt, before we go. And he's currently sleeping on a boat in the ocean, but I just wanted to say a big happy birthday to my friend Tim Biggs. A lot of people that are in this chat know Biggs, a.k.a. Meg. So shout out to him. Happy birthday, bro, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Thailand 2025. He'll be watching the show when he wakes up.
Right, there we go. Well, many happy returns to Megs, hopefully he tunes in and grabs that. And what a place to be, eh? Out on a boat.
Yeah. He's an offshore underwater welder. So he's literally in the middle of the ocean sleeping right now.
Yeah, wow. Well, if he's not sleeping, he's welding. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go through each of these sort of step by step. We've got a bit of a visual to go through, and myself and Morgan are going to be talking through this. So let's start. We're going to start with where do we want to go first? Let's start with the male player of the year. Okay. Now, it's worth remembering, chat, that we had to scale this down to 4 players, right? And what you've also got to remember is that we've also tried to include people who we think are deserving of to be a finalist, without taking and trying our very best not to allow recency bias to be a thing, right? There's a couple of people in here in our finalists lists that you might think, well, okay, that's a bit of an odd pick. When you actually look at the results and what they've done, they had an absolutely stellar first half of the season, first half of 2023. And that's worth another thing. This is the 2023 player of the year, right? So this is a calendar year from January to December. We're not looking at the NZDG calendar, which is got a 6-month offset. We're not looking at a particular tour results. We're looking at every tournament and the disc golf that has been played in 2023. So let's kick it off by having a look at let's go to this one. And here we are. So we've got the male player of the year. Now, the 4 players that we've kind of narrowed it down to: Levi Stout, Jackson Sullivan, Jay Watkinson, and Joe Berry. Okay. Now, chat, we'd love to know who do you think is the winner here? Now, bear in mind, okay, that what I've included in here is the tournaments that people have won, finished second and finished third in, where there has been more than one player in the division. Okay. So we'll start off with Levi. Levi had a brilliant season after he went to America.
Yeah, he came back and just started punishing, didn't he?
I think we'd agree. Right? However, and I'm just going to pull up his, is it this one here? And it's this one. Just going to pull up his PDGA page. If you take a look at his results prior to going to America, then they don't read as well as after, right? Okay, so here's the results. He wins in Heislander in Dunedin at the very beginning of the year. That seems like 8 years ago, doesn't it? The beginning of this year, and then at the 3 majors, doesn't perform to the levels that we know that he can. Then goes to America, competes in Junior Worlds, finishes 5th, comes back and wins everything.
Look at that list. That's incredible, isn't it?
So that's our first choice. Levi is the is the first choice. Very, very good second half of the season. Jackson Sullivan. I don't think you can ever kind of discount this guy. He's always going to be in a conversation such as this. And as you can see, actually, I've included I put in bold the majors, so they kind of stand out a little bit. Lots of wins for Jacko. 6 tournament wins in total. 3 runners-ups, including a major in North Island Champs. And also a 3rd place finish at South Island Champs.
His last tournament here in New Zealand, the Bros for Change, he pretty much just showed everyone how to play disc golf in the hard, windy conditions, really. I don't think anyone had an answer for anything that he was doing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's maybe something to consider, right? Is the margin of victory of some of the wins. If we have a look, just a quick look at the Bros for Chains Charity Classic win, he wins this by 9 shots. Who's winning an MPO division by 9 shots?
Yeah.
Well, Levi, maybe you could argue, but there's not too many people who could do that. Interestingly, we've got some comments coming in from chat. Levi by a country mile.
Man, I've just had a couple of messages. I'm just going to jump out and jump back in.
Yeah, okay. So looking back at our choices then, we've got Jay Watkinson, winner at Bottle Lake. And the reason I think why Jay makes it into this list, welcome back, Morgan. The reason why Jay makes it into this list is his performance at majors has been better than a lot of, the other 3 players, right? Across the board. He's been more consistent at the majors than the other 3 players, at least in 2023, okay? Win at Bottle Lake, 2nd at Heislander to Levi, and 3rd at Lords and Ladies, and he finished 3rd.
6 podiums out of 8 events.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point, and he injured himself in America, I think,
Yep.
which put paid to his to his season somewhat, and so that's why you see this big gap between May and November is where he's coming over that injury, and comes back to South Island Champs, perhaps a bit of an underperformance at 7th, and then Bros for Chains comes 4th in the howling gales of Brooker Ave. And then finally, Joe Berry. It's interesting, Morgan, because when we were talking about breakout player, you mentioned Joe Berry.
I did.
And then I kind of thought, well, I don't know. Is it did he break out last year or this year?
Yeah, I suppose it was sort of blended into from the year before into this year. It was pretty much once he moved to the North Island and started getting that experience on those bigger courses and getting him to play consistently. Not anything against any of the guys he was playing back with down south, but just a different group of guys that are still at that same top level on probably a higher level course, a harder course.
Yeah.
He evolved, and he just kept evolving, and he's another one that we've just seen at the top all the time.
I think that was about 18 months ago that he moved to Auckland, and he was at this point last year he was ranked 8th in the country, and is now ranked 4th. So I can't. It's difficult to count him as a breakout player. When to go from 8th to 4th, right? That's not really right. However, you look at some of the wins that he's got, and it's Brook Park Brave and Waitoa Coastal Cup. So he beat Jacko in his own backyard twice, right? And also took out Te Pouhoi Breeze, which was a little bit more than a breeze. It was a hell of a lot of wind going on there. So look, incredible to be able to score a victory, and actually wins that tournament, I think, by some distance as well. Let me just check. Just flash over to his. This is wins by 2 shots over Johnny Wake, but this tournament was insanely windy, very, very tough, but beats a very strong field, very strong MPO field. and third at GCO, and a couple of Auckland and sort of Upper North Island runners-up spots. So there's your choice. You've got Levi, Jacko, Jay, and Joe that you can vote for. There is an other option on our forms, remember. So if you want to vote for someone else who's not listed here, there's lots of notable mentions. People who have won tournaments over the course of the year. Of course, we've got to mention Andrew Popham took out the Hanma Hot Rounds. Sebastian Faulkner, I think, took out Sub-Zero.
Andrew Popham's another one that's been on the up and up. I don't think he quite makes the list, but he he's been so good all year.
Yeah, and he's currently ranked 6th, right?
Yeah.
So you've got Ashton Clark, who's been on a run in the last few tournaments, and if it's funny, if the recency bias is probably counted against him here, because if that run was at the beginning of the year and he's had a good second half of the season, then we might be talking about Ashton Clark making it into the into this conversation. And Andrew Popham is 6th behind those 5. So yeah, I mean he's in a great spot and has improved since last year, right? So he's currently ranked 6th. This time last year he was 16th, so he's up 10 spots. Yeah, it's good to see.
I actually can't remember if it was like 1 or 2 years ago that he had a cast on his leg and he was still out there playing.
I remember. Yes, yeah. I remember that. I remember seeing him at where I can't remember where we went, but it was some tournament. He had a moon boot on.
Yeah, well, he had it on at Southern Smash, possibly at GCO as well. I just can't quite remember when it was.
Yeah, might well have been there that I saw him. Right. So something to think about. The chat is saying, I think you guys are being harsh on Jacko. It's closer than you're saying, surely.
Not us. He's talking about the chat. If you read through the chat.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So we'll see, Scott. We'll see. It's up to the greater public to vote on this. So if you feel that that Jacko should take out the victory, then put a case forward. Certainly, in terms of number of wins, he's up there with Levi. But a lot of people saying that that Levi should take out the win. Now, let's have a look at the ladies, the female player of the year. So now this one's pretty tough to do, right? And the reason why it's pretty tough is that there's quite a few ladies who kind of switch divisions. They play in sometimes FPO, sometimes FA1, sometimes FA40, etc. It's very difficult to make a kind of comparison between the lot. However, we have put together a list of who we think is the top 4. Again, if you disagree, let us know. So let's go, and it's here. And 1 second. Here we go. Female player of the year. Now, this is where our recency bias, I think, comes in, right? You got Hayley Flintoff. I don't think too many people would argue with Hayley's inclusion into this group of 4. Double South Island champ in the same year. I don't think too many people have done that before. A calendar year double same major. That's got to be pretty rare. Heisender, Queenstown Classic, Lords and Ladies, Nottingley Giants, Tucker Beach Rush, Wahitapu, and then second at Southern Smash, and that was second to Cassie Sweeten. Next up, you got Victoria Speller. A few wins in the North Island, few in the South Island. Recently took out Moonbase South Island champs, and also came second at North Island champs in Topol. Worth saying that she's competing in FA1, whereas Hayley's is an FPO, right?
Yeah.
FPO wasn't always offered at some of the tournaments, but we've got to make it clear as to what divisions people are playing.
Yeah, and Wahitapu.
And Wahitapu as well. Yeah. Here's where our recency bias comes in, because Michelle Simpson, right? Current North Island champ, wins Egg Monster, wins Makaripi, wins the Triple Crown, secondly at Nottingham Giants and Tucker Beach Rush, all in FPO, and third place at 2 majors. So finishes on the podium in 3 majors. It's going to be interesting, right? Because I think she's worthy of inclusion in the finalists. And so that's why we've included her, because she's got some wins in FPO and some strong wins in there. Next up, and finally, is Echo Lee. So you've got the Bottle Lake Open and Temuka Tussle winner, second place at South Island Champs both times, Queenstown Classic and Wahitapu, and then third place at Heisender and Tucker Beach Rush.
Yeah, and I mean, she's been pushing, obviously, down here in the south. It's a battle of her and Hayley most of the time, an FPO at least, and she's pushing her all the time, man. Like, she had the better of her at Wahitapu, and I know this is just recent, but had the better of her at Wahitapu all the way till the end. This is, she's coming.
Yep.
Going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yep. And perhaps, you know, what there's a few people been mentioned here in the other, maybe in the other category. Alison Tweedy, hold on. For
hold, please, caller.
We get to Alison shortly. But some other people, Amy Whitmore, has won the Thermal Throwdown earlier on, won Brook Park Brave, won Heisender, and a bunch of podium finishes as well.
Yeah, and out in the States as well, you know. So, guys, that's another opportunity for you to vote for that extra person.
Indeed. Mama Stout, Nicola Stout. It's difficult to make the comparison here because quite often FA40 may well play a different course layout than FPO or FA1, and so it makes it very difficult to kind of make that distinction.
Nevertheless, though, two first places, two seconds out of five tournaments here. And oh my goodness, if you looked at, I didn't scroll down far enough, FA40 every single tournament, third place.
So, well, that's right. And she's currently ranked 4th in the country. So there we go. If you think that we've missed Nicola Stout off the list, then make sure that you give her your other vote. And
absolutely,
Hayley Flintoff's
definitely worthy of a vote as well, guys. So yeah, make your picks wisely.
Absolutely. Hayley Flintoff is ranked 1 currently. Michelle Simpson's currently ranked 2. Victoria Speller is 3. Nicola Stout is 4. Other people who have been mentioned, Echo Lee, who we mentioned there, is ranked 10th. Alison's 11th, and Amy Whitmore is ranked 12th. So I think that we've got well, in terms of the rankings, at least certainly we've got the top 3, and we've also got Echo, who's put in some strong performances as well. I think if we had a Masters division for Player of the Year, which maybe next year we would, then almost undoubtedly she'd probably walk away with that title. But yeah, we're going to be putting it to the vote, and you guys are going to decide. So if you think we've got it wrong and Nicola Stout needs to be in here and gets your vote, then make sure that you do that when the things come through. So let's just have a look at some of the chat. I was expecting to see Nicola Stout in the mix. Nicola Stout, Amy will get my vote. Okay, Mama Stout. Matt, I think you mean to say Amy won everything she played in. Not quite true. In the States, that might have been true.
They're not as good in the States as we are right here. Sorry, Riley. So, you know, it's easier competition out there.
Some of the I don't know. Some of the field sizes perhaps could be called into question. Would be my only comment.
I'm only joking. He did incredible out there, no matter what.
Personally think the field is catching up to Hayley. That's a fair shout, actually. That's a fair shout by Scott. I think that's probably the case, but she's still shown herself to be the best New Zealand disc golfer, lady disc golfer. And it's still quite a while. And actually, looking at the background of the rankings, it's going to take a while until someone catches up, and they're going to have to beat her in order to catch up as well. It's not a case that they're just going to have to, they can win all the tournaments that Hayley doesn't enter and hope to catch her up in order to really claw anything back. They need to beat Haley, which is very difficult to do. Very, very difficult to do.
There's a few that have tried, and they don't succeed most of the time.
Indeed. So that's the female player of the year. Now let's move on to the male junior player of the year. Here we've got 4 candidates again, and I've listed the division that they've played in, along with their wins or runners-up. So we've got Sam Lycan, recently moved up to MA1 and is actually playing MPO, I think, for some tournaments at the beginning of next year. Let me just have a
interesting
look. I'm sure that for at least one of these tournaments, he's playing in. Oh, there we are. There it is. There, look. This is the Bottle Lake Open. So he is playing in MPO. Recent edition, Paul Oman there, and you see Luke Humphreys and Sullivan Tipton also that have been signed up. But Sam Lycan down here in is now in also playing in MPO, which is fantastic to see. What is he? 18? Less than 18?
He's definitely less than 18. Yeah, 100%.
There's his stats, but most recently took out the Temuka Tussle in MA1, which I think is absolutely brilliant. 16, Sam Lycan. Elsewhere, Jai Tafunga, I think is younger than Sam by maybe a year or two. I think Jai might be 14 or 15. Bros for Change winner, South Island champ, Nationals champ at MJ15. And second at the Charteris Bay Charge. Connor's quite a bit younger again. I think is Riley 16. Is that for Jai or is that for Sam? I'm not sure.
It's for Sam.
That's for Sam, is it? Okay. I think Jai is maybe a couple of years younger, and Connor's maybe a couple of years younger again.
Yeah, definitely.
But however, wins MJ18 at the Montana Flat and Sub-Zero. Takes out MJ12 at Tucker Beach Rush and is the current under 15 national champ. Sorry, second place at Nationals and second place at Moonbase. And then finally is Magnus Davison, who is younger again. I think, is he 10, 11?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. So, I mean, he might well be on this list for many, many years. But Connor's just turned 12. Okay, so there we go.
And I think Magnus is like 900 rated, which is just incredible.
Let's just have a quick look. Yes, in fact, you're right. There was a ratings bump this week, 2 days ago, and he's jumped 17 points to 903.
I think you mean there was a ratings update. We didn't all get a bump, all right, man.
Didn't all get a bump. Yeah, no, I didn't get. I didn't have any rounds rated. The next update I will, and it will go down. But like this one, I didn't. It's sort of stayed very similar for me.
Steve Lawson says Junior of the Year, Levi Stout. He didn't play. We're talking about playing in junior divisions too.
Yeah, so he didn't play in any junior divisions, which is why he's not eligible for this. If you remember, a few years ago, NZDG used to give out like the Masters Player of the Year to like Simon Feasy and Mikey Yu, and they've never touched MP40 or MA40 in the whole year. Which kind of, for us MA40 stalwarts, which I certainly count myself as one now, having got a year of it under my belt. That would be a bit of a, you know what I mean? If that was to happen. So we've tried to keep them separate and say, look, if you play in junior divisions, then you're eligible for junior divisions. And I know Levi played juniors at Worlds, but in New Zealand he didn't play any junior divisions. He played exclusively MPO. Yeah, so that's Magnus, and his results this year. Yeah, well, Riley, if you think that Levi deserves to be the Junior Player of the Year, then you can use your vote to say that he should be the Junior Player of the Year. And
your vote counts, Riley.
Your vote counts as much as anyone else's, and
right.
I appreciate that he did play juniors. Absolutely, I know that he did, and was very, very. I mean, arguably, it was a bit of a sore way to finish fifth, honestly. And perhaps if he'd managed to sneak into that top four, could well have gone on to do even better. But the vote is up to you. Who do you think it's going to be? Lots of people saying Sam, go Connor. Connor just turned up. That's from his brother, so there may be some bias there. Young Magnus is a weapon for his age. Yeah, absolutely, for his age, he's fantastic. And yeah, right. Finally, this one's a little bit not controversial, I don't think, but is quite an interesting one, right? And it might split the room. This. So finally, well, I don't know, Morgan.
I like it because I don't know where I sit on it either.
Yeah, the female junior of the year. Okay, who do you go for? Do you go for Sarah Wadsworth, who was the junior world champion? Or do you go for Alison Tweedy, who started off playing juniors, made her way into FA1, and has started to pick up wins in FA1, right? And has been playing some incredible golf. Big age difference between the two, right? But really, I think if you're going to talk about female junior player of the year, it's one of these two. And you either go, do you know what? The World Championship is the World Championship. It's what every disc golfer, competitive disc golfer would want to win. And so to win that's the goal.
That's the pinnacle. Yeah. I mean, Leon said Alison, no question, but it really is though, boss. It's, Alison is playing incredible golf and is undoubtedly, in my opinion, the best junior female player right now. But how do you look past someone winning a world championship?
Absolutely.
So I don't know where my vote sits with that, but I sort of see where I'm headed towards.
So
maybe
Kelvin's saying this is a hard call for you. For me, it really is. It really is. Scott, I don't think you can answer this without some criteria for the award, right? Okay, so here's the criteria. In the opinion of the New Zealand disc golf community who tune into this show and vote on who the winner is, right? Feel that the winner is the person who is most deserving to be called the Sweet Chain Female Junior of the Year, right? So does that mean that they're the best player? Maybe. Does it mean that they've had the most successful year? Maybe. Does it mean that they're playing really well for their age compared to someone else who might be playing objectively better golf, but being older is, relative to their age a group, is perhaps not at the same level as someone who's younger, right? It's up to you. It's up to the public, up to the New Zealand community, disc golf community, to make that decision and to vote on who they think. And what we'll do next week is we're going to be revealing the result of this vote, and we'll see where it falls. I think both. I mean, you could make a case for either one of these two ladies winning this.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely right down the middle, and I think it'll stay that way for the votes. I will say this as well, and Alison's going to get a chance at a world championship soon too. That's coming.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she does incredibly well.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised at all. And that's what we want to see, right? We want to see that happen. We want to see that happen. We want Sarah's win to be the first of many. But yeah, I mean, so where does your vote go? At the end of this, you'll be able to put your vote in. It's all anonymous. You just need to have. We're not collecting your email address, but you do need an email address to log in order to be able to do the vote. So you can't clock up multiple votes for the same person. Like, you can't just do the form hundreds of times yourself. So but we don't collect the email address, so we don't know. I won't know who's voted for who, so it's completely anonymous. All I'll see is the totals at the end.
The emails come to me and I'll judge you.
Yeah, maybe. Right. Next up is so they're the. Let's just quickly summarize the groups. So we've got male player of the year Levi, Jacko, Jay, and Joe. Female player of the year Haley, Victoria, Michelle, and Echo. Male junior of the year Sam Lycan, Jaitafunga, Connor, and Magnus. And finally, female junior of the year is between Sarah Wadsworth and Alison Tweedy. Okay, so put your vote here if on who you think is the most deserving. And Scott, I get it, right? This impacts the male juniors. If I know what we're not giving you a clear criterion category, because if we did that, a clear winner would probably emerge, and that's not what this is about. This is about giving the opinion to the disc golf community to make that call based on the priorities that the New Zealand disc golf community deem to be most valid for this award. All right, and look, there's no cash prize here. This is about prestige. It's about bragging rights, if you like, if they count for anything. I don't know, but it's about us having a debate and yeah. So it'd be really interesting. Let us know in the comments if you think that there's anybody we've missed. I don't think there's a few people who you might say that have been missed, but
there's definitely going to be people that have been missed. But we have to narrow it down, and that's why we have the other option as well. We can't just sit here with a list of the top 15 players in the country and be like, who's the best? Because then you just go, well, it's the top of the table.
Yeah, indeed. And perhaps also a bit of controversy is part of the show's appeal. Yeah. Anyway, right. Let's move over to Tournament of the Year. Now, there's no fancy graphics for this, so unfortunately, you've got me and Morgan on the screen.
I'll just put my sweet hat back on then. There you go.
Where did you get that hat? Did you get that at the circus?
Just from over there, at my stash. Where else?
You got it from the circus? Did you get that from work? Is it on
this is my part of my Wahi Tapu Saturday night player party kit. I'm not going to put it all on because I don't want to scare the children. But
excellent. Well, it looks very good. Right. Tournament of the Year. Morgan, talk us through some highlights for you.
Oh man, Southern Smash for me every year is a huge highlight.
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the North this year, unfortunately. So I just can't have any opinions on anything up there. Although you see that a lot of the tournaments up there are blooming epic, especially Taupo and most of the things in Auckland. But for me, Southern Smash is probably my number one that I look forward to going to the most every year. Christchurch GCO was incredible this year. When they just went out the gate and just blew a lot of things out of the water to another level that we hadn't seen before. So that was cool. Obviously, I have my own bias of Wahi Tapu, but it's a different sort of tournament. It's not all about the actual gameplay. Well, it is about the gameplay, but it's more about everything else that's going on around the place. I'm out there having as much fun as everyone else most of the time if I get the opportunity. So, yeah, man. For me, I think my number one pick is probably Southern Smash. I just have such an incredible time every time I go down there. They look after all the players so blooming well down there. You're fed so well. And, for me, I love hanging out with my crew of guys that I've got down there staying at Johnny's place. So that sort of bumps it up a little bit even higher for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this is interesting because this is the only one of these awards where there isn't a group of finalists, right? We're giving you a chance to put in your own one, right? You write whatever tournament you like in there. It could be your local C tier, could be nationals, it could be whatever, right? So just be clear when you put it in to the answers. Just make it clear as to what the tournament was, right? Don't put some funny acronym or whatever. So because
actually, Japan Open smoked all of them, but we'll leave it over
there. New Zealand,
sorry everyone, is way better.
New Zealand tournaments only. So this is New Zealand tournament of the year. Now, for me, it was GCO, right? And the reason I'm going to say GCO over Southern Smash is just my experience at GCO was was I thought it was fantastic. It was great to see. It was really well run. It was fantastic to see two courses that were right next to each other, right? So all the players were in the same place, caused a lot of kind of hype and a lot of atmosphere to be generated around kind of that tournament central, around the clubhouse there. You had that alleyway of vendors that that was crazy, that all the bikers through Hagley Park got annoyed at, but still was very good. We had some overseas players in the form of Avery and Maverick and of course Nate playing, which was a great draw for me. I'm so glad that I played the red layout, the MP40 layout, even though it was tough, and I got it handed to me on the last 3 holes 3 times in each round. But it's one of those courses that I really want to go back to. There's probably only 2 courses that I've played that following the tournament I kind of go, I really want to go back and have another go at that.
Yeah, right? And that course, that red course, is only going to be a practice course this year with some few tweaks. Everyone's actually playing off of the main course, which is going to be altered completely again. It's not going to be the same. You might get a few of the same holes or similar.
Sorry, have I got the courses wrong here? So the long course or the short course?
It was red, the short course.
Oh, so okay. I thought red was the long course. Someone can.
Oh, maybe I've got it wrong too. Sorry.
Because it's not really a standard. People just pick their favorite color. But so I thought blue was the short and red was the long. Someone will correct me.
Quite possibly, yeah. There's a few Christchurch people here. I'm sure they can tell us.
So I played the long course, and So I was happy that was the one. Worth saying actually, because Scott's put GCO and Southern Smash were great for the same reasons, so we had to separate them. You have to only vote for one, right? And if people put more than one in the voting box, right, I will only take your first answer. Okay, so I will only take the first one that it appears. So if you put both, then your vote will go to the person to the tournament.
I'll help you out, Scott. Just don't vote for either of those two. Just recency bias. Where did you just have heaps of fun?
Greg is telling me opposite. So blue was the long course and red was the short course. My apologies. So it's the one of perhaps 2 that I really wanted to get back to play the course again, and that's just looking at the playing side, not taking into account the experience. Now, I had a great time. I was fortunate enough to be staying with Leon, who was like right in the center of everything. Avery and Maverick were staying there as well, so it was great to spend some time with them. So I was very fortunate in that. So that might have tainted my view, but that's who I'll be voting for when I put my votes through. What else have we got saying here? We've got I loved Waitapu and Moonbase for the extras, the distance comp and skins. Both great experiences. Yeah, I mean we're starting to see that, like we're starting to see more tournaments offer these extra things. It's not enough now just to put on a tournament. You have to add the extras and provide the additional entertainments, I guess they are really, so that the experience of going to a tournament is like going to a festival. It's not, you go to a festival if you want to watch the music, but also a lot of people go to a festival because they love going and being around a festival, right? And it's like a little small town. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Glastonbury Festival. I went once in 2003. And
just a little festival, that one I hear, a little local.
It was crazy. 2003, REM and Radiohead, if anyone's around. And it's amazing, right? But the big tournaments like this, you go to for the same reasons. The disc golf is almost like a second part. Sub-Zero is definitely up there. That's getting a vote from Tom Strawbridge and Matthew Rance also as well. Can't beat the breeze at Tipohoy. There might be some geographic bias there from Anthony. Also, Morgan, you mentioned one earlier on, Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon. Yeah, I mean, when I was at OHA a couple of weeks ago, I just heard so much about this tournament, things that I hadn't heard before, and like multiple people telling me it's the best event they've ever been to, and not just because of the event, but like the way it's run and all the little side things, and that's given me the push to sign up to go this year.
I've seen you sign up. Yeah.
Yeah, I signed up, booked flights and everything. I was like, you know what, bugger, I'm going. I'm just send it. I got paid, and I was like, waste all your money or spend all your money.
It's certainly not a waste.
Who needs Christmas presents?
You'll have a fantastic time, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, sorry, Matt, 2 secs. I just need to grab my phone charger.
Okay. So what is everyone else saying then? We've got a few votes for Sub-Zero. That will get more votes, I think, than perhaps expected. Armageddon was in 2022. Really? Okay. Well done, Tom, for bringing that up. I'm not sure that's going to count, honestly. It's a shame that Morgan's not here to kind of defend it. Was there no Armageddon in 2023, or is it being like early next year, and that's kind of the annual equivalent? It just happens that it crossed a year. I don't know. That might be the case. Morgan,
hello.
I don't know if you heard any of that.
Nope.
Armageddon was in 2022. So,
Roger. Well, that's out the window. Cool.
so it doesn't qualify, unfortunately, this year. April 6th and 7th next year, right? So it could well feature in next year's end of year awards. We shall have to see. Certainly, it's one that's on my list to get to. Again, next year is going to be tough. First half of next year is going to be real tough for me to get to any tournaments. But it's certainly one to add to this, especially considering the proximity to me. What else? What else are people saying? Has anyone else got any?
Taupo? Surely Taupo, man.
Yeah, look, the course at Taupo is great, right? The course at Taupo is fantastic. I think what Taupo lacks, that Southern Smash had a great solution for. GCO had a solution for, but it wasn't as good as the Southern Smash. Invercargill has a very good solution for, and that's a tournament HQ, right? A clubhouse or something similar that is that people can get together at and gather at and stay in the shade or out of the rain. And there's maybe a bar and you can maybe get some chips or whatever. Yeah. And I think that kind of that facility really adds itself to a tournament. It's not one that Taupo's got, unfortunately.
It definitely makes a huge difference, just having that hub.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, and you can set gazebos up and you can get the barbecue going, and thermal throwdown. That's what they did, and it was nice around that kind of hole 1, tee of hole 1, tee of hole 5, etc. But to have that kind of indoor space, the Smash did it great, right? And also at the Smash, I don't know where you were watching the final of the MPO division. At the Smash, I was up in the clubhouse.
Yeah, looking down over hole 18.
That's it. And I was right in the corner watching the last few cards come in.
Yeah, you want me coming?
yeah. So Steve's selling his Taupo Golf Club as an incredible base for 23. That might well be the case. I wasn't there. So that could well be the case. So other people might want to correct me on there. Heisender's getting a mention. Rip Heisender from Riley. I'm not sure what that means. I played Heisender 2 years ago, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, they didn't read the course again this year, so they've got the Seafarer, obviously, which is their new tournament, which is a different location.
Okay, I see. It was at the scout camp, wasn't it?
Yeah, Waiora Scout Camp. Now, that's an incredible location, but I tell you what, those guys put in such a massive amount of work to get that to where they want it. Yeah. So, it takes many hands to get that done. I can just imagine that's the hard part of it.
Especially around the back, when you start coming round the back, that gets real rugged out there, and I can imagine from one year to the next, it looks completely different.
Well, I remember when I first was going to Iceland, and God knows what year it was, and we used to walk up that hill to that very top Pinnacle Ridge hill, And there was no stairs. So these guys here, I remember Max Evans and a few of the other guys went in and hand dug them in and carried buckets of gravel up that hill all the way, like one or two, maybe 2 or 3 buckets per step, all the way to the top of that hill. It's incredible.
Wow. That hill is not a nice hill to, especially if you've gone and taken like a double or a triple on the hole before, and you've got to climb up a hill to reflect on what you've.
It used to be, I think off the top of my head, it used to be like a little bit later or mid round, and now it's one of the first holes. So
yeah, that's right. So I think it's hole 4 or 5. And I think it might have used to be 8. Down. Oh, did it used to be 8? So I think
it used to be 8.
Hole 5 plays down the hill, down the gully with the basket on the right,
and then 6 and then 7. Oh, maybe it was further around before then.
But my memory might be going away there. But 3 and 4 certainly tough holes.
Yeah.
Right. Have we got any more suggestions coming through? No, it doesn't look like. So plenty to vote for, plenty to have a think about. Don't just go for the most recent tournament you've been to.
Or do.
But consider all of the tournaments you've had this year, and remember, 2023 is the cutoff. I think the first tournament of the year was Heisinger. It typically is, and so that was the first one that kicked it off. So from 2023 is the ones we're interested in, and it's going to be a free form field. So just type in the one that you think is right. All right. Next up is Breakout Player of the Year. Now, Morgan, who do you have as your Breakout Player of the Year?
J-Dub all day. You know you're getting my vote, dude. Johnny Wake.
Johnny Wake. Right. Let's just have a look because I've got.
I can't preach that hard for weeks on end and not vote for him.
Right. Okay. So let's just have a look. What you're seeing here is a bit of a sneak preview or a kind of a behind the curtain of the power rankings. Okay. And what the data analytics team have got here is this is the rank currently in this column here. This was their rank in 2022, right? At the end of 2022, this is their rank. Where you see 134, that means everybody who wasn't ranked, right? 134 or higher is everybody who wasn't ranked. So Johnny Wake has gone from not being ranked to 14th in the country, and is perhaps the obvious choice here that you see. However, I want to pull out some other kind of alternatives, if you like, to who you could consider if you weren't going to consider Johnny Wake. And actually, in terms of the voting for this, three players there who have been doing some really great, playing some really, really good golf up and down the country, and have found themselves from being practically unranked in at 30 and 30, 33 and 36 respectively.
Matt, sorry, I'm hearing that your audio might be gone. Chat, can we confirm, please?
My apologies. I don't know what.
Just a wee confirmation in chat, please, guys.
Am I back? I think I might be. I don't know.
All good now. Back. Thanks, team.
Okay.
Thanks, Johnny.
I'm not getting the chats coming through. Oh no, there he is. I've got all.
Yeah, they just started coming in.
Missed all that. It's back now. Okay. So if you missed all that, the four choices that you have, you have Johnny Wake. Okay, only started playing disc golf on Boxing Day of last year and is now ranked 14th in the country. You have Luke Hempel out of Auckland, now ranked 30th in the country. 33rd in the country. You've now got Isaac Latter, who's played some very, very strong disc golf this year and finds himself ranked 36th. and you've got Daniel Hunter as well, who's new into the rankings this year. So there are your 4 choices. Morgan, who does your vote go for?
J-Dub, Johnny Wake.
Yeah.
I can't bleed on about it for literal weeks on end and not do it. So
no, I
100% got my vote, my friend.
Sleeping on Jung Ha. Yes, but I don't know. Let's just have a quick check, Brett. Actually, because we've got the data here, so we might as well have a look. Where is it? Is it here? Here it is. Hopefully, this isn't what's slowing down my my audio. Jung Ha was ranked 72 last year and is now ranked 26th. So that's quite the jump of 50 odd, 46 places. That's quite a big jump. It's quite a big jump. And so yeah, that's not bad, but it's perhaps not as bad, not as good, sorry, as Johnny Wake, who as we said, only started playing disc golf on Boxing Day, literally through his first disc golf disc on Boxing Day last year, and is now ranked 14th in the country. It's funny. I spoke to Johnny on Thursday night, and he was saying, for the first sort of 6 months that I was playing, I was known as Ben Morrison's nephew, and now he's my uncle. It's been incredible. The meteoric rise of Johnny Wake has been crazy. Played with him last on Wednesday, he pushed Joe Berry at Tepohoy to within 2 shots. I think.
Yeah.
2 or 3
Johnny,
shots.
you're going to have to come down to Armageddon and show me what you got, man. I need to see this in person.
Well, actually, I spoke to him on Thursday about this very thing, and I said, "Look," and he has signed up for some tournaments. So he's signed up for. Let me just see. I know he's playing in the South Island at some point. I said, "Look, you're going to have to go down south because there's a lot of people down south who have seen you do all this cool stuff up here, and they want to play you." Right, and so he is coming down to the Garden City Open in March. So many people will see him there and get to play against him.
Might as well stay down for the week and come up to Armageddon.
Unfortunately, I think that's what he's doing. I think that's what he's doing. Shout me some flights.
I've shouted you enough, right? I've shouted your name to the heavens.
Unfortunately for everybody in the South Island, I think the Garden City Open course is about as well suited to his game as you're going to find. It's perhaps it's relatively open. If it was more wooded, then there'd perhaps be some be a little bit more trouble there. But I mean, this guy is throwing silly distance off the tee. And I was playing with him yesterday, and it was like he was just draining putts from circle 2. Like when someone plays an upshot and you think, they're not going to make that putt. He was making those putts. There we go. It was one of those days. One of those days. Isaac Latter's getting a lot of love in the chat. So that's someone who's worth looking at again. So just to confirm, Isaac Latter's climbed from 120th this time in 2022 up to 30th in the country. And let's just have a quick check on how exactly he's done that. Isaac based in Dunedin. And I've got his PDGA page here. So nice little bump in the last ratings up to 926. Not too many in the way of wins. However, some strong finishes. Right. So
podiums there. Yeah.
A few podiums. And let's not forget, MA1 is a stacked field now. You've got to play some real good golf if you're playing well in MA1. It's not, you don't just turn up. Tip the cap to Isaac, who's been playing some great golf and has been playing well enough to find himself climbing up to 30th in the country.
Hold on a second. He's got an MJ18 on the bottom there.
Yeah, I guess he must be. I guess he must have been 18. He must have been turning 18 next year, I suspect.
And no offense to you, I genuinely just thought you were slightly older than that.
But yeah, Brett's asking for a slow scroll down that spreadsheet. Yeah, all right, okay, we'll do that. Okay, we'll do a quick, a very slow scroll down, and we'll go until we find both of us, Morgan. All right, we could be here sometime. We could be here sometime. We could be here sometime.
Oh my God!
So sing out when you see your name. So if you see here, this is your rank in 2022. This is your change. If it's a negative number, you went down. If it's a positive number, you went up. Sam,
down 3.
Where are you?
Couple up from there.
Oh, there we are. Yes, you're. Oh, but you were 70th this time last year. So you're 43rd, up 27 spots.
There was a day in time where I was in like top 10. I think I finished. That one over there says 11th in New Zealand in 2009, 18, 19?
2006 or something, was it?
No, 2019. Okay. Just looking at it across the room, it's screwed to the wall, my little award.
We have to go pretty far down. There's Brett Carlisle, I know who's asking, up 2 spots from last year, up to 84th. Ben Schicker was a name that came up. He was actually 34th last year and was dropped to 87th. So unlikely this year. You have to keep going down until you find me. Oh my word! I think I was 131. There we are. I'm down 35 spots on this time last year. In 131st. So there we go. Anyway, that's enough of that.
I feel better about my place on that the further you scroll. Just keep going.
There's some good players, eh? Like you look at it and like I look at that list and I'm like, oh, actually I didn't realize that I'm ranked higher than that person.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, right. So they are your categories. You've got 6 categories to vote on: male player of the year, male junior, female junior, tournament of the year, and breakout player of the year. Okay. Now there's no prizes for this. It's just bragging rights, prestige, notoriety. You'll go down in the annals of history as being the inaugural winners of these awards, and maybe next year we'll open it up. What we're also going to do is there's going to be a free form. Is that the right way to say it? A free form field. I think that's right. For I want you, the public, to nominate somebody for an award that you choose. Okay. So it could be, and we won't be able to perhaps read out all of them, but we'll read out if there's any that are similar, then we will, and if there's any that are quite funny, then we will as well. So kind of an award for someone who you think deserves it for whatever reason, okay? And it could be their contribution to disc golf in your area, right? On a serious note, right? It could be their kind of unsung hard work in the background that you perhaps isn't obvious, and they don't get all the plaudits unnecessarily, but if they didn't do it, you'd really notice the difference, right? It could be the person who has really helped you out for whatever for whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's helping your game or otherwise. I mean, it could be someone who's done that. So there's going to be a free form field. So we're going to and it's going to be called Your Award. All you need to do is in the field, you need to just put what the award is and who's going to win. Matt and Morgan, New Zealand's best late night Thursday disc golf related podcast. Yes.
If we lost that, we'd have to give it up. I think
it would be tragic, wouldn't it? But yeah, what are we calling these awards? The Cheneys? Yes, I think we can. I think we can probably call them the Cheneys. Well done, Brett. That sounds good. I was trying to think of something like that, but couldn't. Caddy of the year, maybe Caddy of the year is a thing, right? If you can,
100%, man.
there were some other podcasts out there talking about this, how and this was on the Tour Life, right? How the Tour Life podcast with Brodie Smith and Paul Ulibarri, and Paul Ulibarri is talking about his caddy and the kind of employment terms, only rough, not detailed, rough employment terms that he gives his caddy. So his caddy works for, I don't know, Paul Ulibarri Inc. or whatever, and that's who that's what he does, and he gets bonuses based on Paul's performance and etc. But there's probably people out there who do a fantastic job of that and don't necessarily get the awards. So it could be, I don't know, it could be your dad, your friend, or your whoever who does the caddying for you. Club of the Year, Kelvin Cummins makes a good shout. Club of the Year, maybe that's
a good shout.
That's a good award. Anyway, so that final one is your award. You get to choose it. We won't be able to read all of them out, but we'll read the ones that we think are the kind of most deserving, all the ones that that kind of make us laugh. Funniest angry player, yes, that could be amusing, and depending on who it is, we may read it out. So so we'll see. Okay, so right, let me get this. Now we'll be sending this link out on our socials, etc. And Morgan, you'll share it to the Generation page as well, eh?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Let's put this in to the chat so that you can start voting on it now. And if you've got any, let me just check. No. Okay.
Matt, are you going to make it that people can do more than one of these extra categories, or is it just going to be limited to one a person?
We could do a few,
Maybe just cut 3 in there. Give them 3 options.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be more than that. Otherwise,
that's right. You don't have to fill these ones in the final 3. They are you don't have to put any of them in if you don't want to. But it's really an opportunity for you to let us know what you think is so sure. So there we go.
The biggest cash putt of the year, Kelvin Cummins, $300. Circle 2 on film. Check out the Generation Disc Golf page and you'll see the video that Kelvin and Marie Cummins put together for the skins match up at O'Howe. That came out today, guys. Check that out. Actually, okay. Kelvin, maybe we could even stick a link for that in the chat there, if that's possible.
Right, here we go. Here is the link, so you can start voting. Fill out the form, and then next week, on next week's show, we shall be revealing all of the winners of the inaugural Sweet Chain End of Year Awards, the Chainies. So if you want to vote for your favorite player, then get involved with that. Right. Finally, Morgan, before we go, we're just quickly going to have a quick squiz at the Secret Santa, which is
Secret Santa. Are we doing upcoming events? And I also have something to say at the end.
Okay, so let's just have a quick look. We've got. Let me just see if we can find the page.
Oh, Jacko made one for 700 at Taupo. Damn, that would be sick.
So Secret Santa, we've had some pretty cool stuff coming out in terms of prizes. So lots of lollies and some discs.
Oh, I didn't see that one today. That's cool. That Halloween disc with all the candy.
You got some fourth circle and a claymore. Look at this. I love it when you see discs that are just like, I'd love to have that disc. I think it's
for sure.
That's fantastic. Oh, look at that. I'm actually glad that orbit didn't go all the way around. That looks awesome. Brett, you got yourself a quality Secret Santa there. Johnny's, who knows what's in this box, right? So he's got this first one, which is like
a light.
Like
Tap
a light.
it on the top.
Yeah, right. And then open part 2 at Christmas. So we'll get more on that when a little bit later on. Lots of people saying they've sent their parcels off. Remember, the 18th is your deadline for sending the parcels off, and that's simply to get the package delivered in time, right? We want to make sure that everybody gets their packages. Louis Hickson getting some goodies. That's good to see. Oh, some sweet Team Innova stuff there. Some real good stuff being sent out. So look, I think this has been a great success, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely be doing it again.
Yeah, so I mean, let us know if we'll do a feedback on the Secret Santa. Maybe in January, when everybody's had their things delivered. But yeah, it looks like it's been really good, and there's been some.
We
really,
could
really
do this
good
like
stuff
a couple times a year, man. It doesn't even have to be like a Secret Santa thing. It'd just be like a collector swap.
Yeah, like a disc swap thing. I think I think there's ones that are done similar to that elsewhere. We'll have to have a look at how we can make it work. Right, now you wanted to go through. What else did you want to go through?
Oh yeah, there's just one thing I wanted to bring up, but it's just about NZ Elite Series. Obviously, you've seen sort of the coming together of all the people that are running the events that we've got here. So you've obviously got myself and Adam at Generation Disc Golf. You've got the Invercargill Disc Golf South Club crew, Christchurch Disc Golf Club, and we've got Disc Shop NZ on board as well now. These guys have brought Armageddon to the table, which is really awesome. Registration is now open for Armageddon for players that competed last year. I'm sorry guys, I don't remember the date off the top of my head for the next part of the entry opening, but if you just check out the Disc Shop Facebook page or website, you'll get the details there. GCO's registration's also open, so that's really exciting. That's starting to fill up quite quickly, and yeah, we're really happy about that. But just like the coming together of all of these guys, and I just want to say a big thank you to all of them, because there's some really cool stuff going on in the background. And something that's come out this week is we had a big conversation about tournament directors and who's the best at doing what sort of thing and what would be helpful. This is just internal conversation. What would be helpful for me to go here and do? What would be helpful for Leon to be here and do? And what we've actually come to, the guys down in Invercargill have had a brilliant idea, and they're actually looking for some outside help, and they've brought in Hayden Shaw, who's now going to be tournament directing the Southern Smash this year. So on top of every piece of experience that they put into that event for the last few years and made it to what it is, they're now bringing in someone who can just bring in another angle, another layer of the onion, you might say, to just really spice things up. So this is really new. We don't have too many more details even in the background of what's going to happen because of this, but I know Hayden. If I know Hayden, he's got some things up his sleeve, and I'm pretty excited to see this. So big ups to Hayden. He's definitely the most toured tournament director in New Zealand, in my opinion. I know there's others that come down and run events, but he's consistently running events in the North and the South Island, man. And this is only going to be good things, Absolutely. Being able to work together with all these guys is just, we're really going to try and push things in a good direction as best we can.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. It looks like the Smash is going to just go another layer higher than we saw it go last year, which is fantastic and great news for all the players, right? Everybody who's signed up and is going to go and play in that event. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, those guys are also going to be not even in the background; they're going to be in the foreground running the event. But he's going to be the tip of the spear, leading the way. So pretty hyped for that.
Good work. Excellent. Lots to look forward to. Talking of upcoming events, let's just have a quick look at the upcoming events. Oh, hang on. It's this one.
Johnny's just sent a picture to me of that light, and it's sitting on top of a basket, and it looks pretty incredible. I'm not sure if he wants that shared or not, but I'm going to send it to you anyway.
So this is next year. So we got the only real input here is the Ashburton Open, which is on the 24th of February. Other than that, this I can't believe we got a full page here. And like, look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these events occur before the 24th of February. That's the first 8 weeks. You got these 10 events. Morgan, we're going to be busy first half of next year, first part of next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a reminder to everyone out there, Roxburgh is sold out now, but there is a very small wait list, and it's always worth jumping on that if you are interested in getting amongst the action.
Yeah, totally. So make sure you get along to these events if you can. Egg Monster North Island Champs kicks us off, then Roxburgh Open, Southern Smash, Seafarer, then the first of the Tour Down Under events, Topol Classic, New Zealand Nationals, Bottle Lake and Paradise with a Midsummer's Dream in Christchurch on the 28th if you're around. Ashburton is a number 1 dayer, 2 rounds on the 1 day in 24th of February. Queenstown Classic, Garden City and Montana Flat are the ones we know about. We have a voice message through to you, but
I don't know if that's safe to open, Matt.
Okay, I won't open it here. No, that's fine. So there we go. Lots to. GCO Regio is now, yes, that's exactly right. So we can change that. The Garden City Open registration is now open. So head over to Disc Golf Scene and make sure that you register for that if you can get to Garden City down in Christchurch last weekend in March.
Yeah. And obviously Armageddon to go on that list as well.
Right. Morgan, anything else? Sorry, Tom, I don't have my phone with me, so not to hand, so I can't see your message. But yeah.
To answer your question, Matt, no, nothing else from me. We had a little bit of a late start, but when for some reason at the start you said to me, might be a shorter show, I knew that was out the window right from the get-go. It's 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you again for another good week on the show, Matt.
Indeed. Thank you so much to everybody who put up with us starting late, but also for everybody who has already voted. 9 people have voted already, have put their votes in for the Sweet Chen End of Year Awards. I'm sure that'll go up as the week goes.
And 2 more people have subscribed in the last 10 minutes, I see.
They have. If you like what we do and what we talk about, then please consider subscribing to us on YouTube. It's free, and all you do is click the subscribe button. You'll get notified. If you click the bell, you'll get notifications every time we go live. And you can catch up on previous shows as well. And it really does help the channel out. We've got 19 more subscribers until we do our next giveaway. The last one was a lot of fun. We gave away 3 discs in a day. That was good fun. But otherwise, next week we will have the results of the Sweet Chain End of Year Awards. We will also have hot scores for the whole year 2023, and we'll go through in a little bit more detail the power rankings for everybody this year. We'll keep scrolling down all the way down until we find everybody who's watching. But until then, wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week.